Do you know how important stopping strings can be on the guitar? I think it's one of the things that separates the amateur from the professional musician. How long a note rings, again, I live in the acoustic instrumental guitar world. How long a note lasts is vital. How long a note lasts is the same for a vocalist. How long does that note last when they're singing it? It's critical to the harmony that's going on underneath the piece. It is critical to whatever chords that we might be playing at the time. And it's something that we don't really talk about, especially in the steel string world. One of the first places that people probably start recognizing where they need to stop strings is when they're moving from, for example, a D chord. I'm in drop D tuning right now. So if I'm playing in D and I go to an A chord, I can hear this D ringing against that A, and it is discordant. It's low enough so that the suspension that it should imply isn't very pretty. And so what's important for me to do is when I'm changing it is watch my right hand thumb when I go from playing the D to the A. Did you hear how much cleaner that sounded? That's very important. If you're strumming, making sure that you only hit the strings that you're supposed to, that are in the chord, is vital. That's one way with your right hand as a strummer that you can really kind of clean up. It's not so much about stopping strings from ringing, but it is about making sure that only the ones you want to get started. Another way to mute with your right hand is literally just to let it rock over. This is something that I use a lot on the harp guitar, but it comes in handy here. Depending on what else is occupied, you might just need to stop one of the bass strings from ringing and just letting your flesh there go. I use my left hand quite often to stop open strings from ringing if my thumb is occupied. The only thing that I warn against when using your left hand is to make sure that you don't put it directly over a node, over the fret. So for example, you don't want to put, if you're muting, you don't want to damp it by anything that's over the 4th, 5th, 7th, 9th, or 12th frets. That's where nodes are, and you'll actually introduce another note into the harmony and you might not like it. The last thing to think about, and it's something that is vastly important to me in my performing pieces, the melody, the things that I'm typically playing on the first 3 strings, those notes, how long they ring is critical. Typically when we're damping low notes, we're worried about harmony and making sure that the 1 or the 5 is really brought out, or the 3rd, whatever that we have as the bass note, the lowest note in the chord that we've built. We want that to be clear, but the melody also needs to be clear. And sometimes that involves making sure that a string lasts as long as possible. So your left hand fingering, if you need a D note to ring through 2 measures, you have to fret your fingers accordingly, so that you can do that, so that you can stay there that whole time. And again, you are probably going to have to mute some treble strings so that the melody again is clean and clear to us, that we can keep up with whatever that is. And that can be done with either right and left hand fingers. Remember, all you really have to do is to release a string on the guitar, and it will mute it. It will stop that note from ringing if it's a fretted note. If it's an open string, you can very often see how little movement there, but that is me going from, if the first string is ringing, I can get it to stop. These are all little tricks. The important part is when you are in arranging or composition mode, it's vital that you figure out what the note value is so that you can choreograph whatever damping is involved. Do not write a piece of music then go back and try to do the damping. It's like learning the piece twice, because learning to damp and making that part of the choreography as you learn a piece of music, I think is vital to being able to put it together very quickly and to put it together at a performance level much, much faster. So now you know how important damping strings can be. Cheers.